You're locked in to the Joe Cronin Show Patreon exclusive content. Episode 196, Morning Madness. Good morning, everybody. What's up, everybody? This is going to be I think, a pretty good morning. I may even, go choke my neighbor's dog out. Hey, neighbor's dog, I'd like to choke you out now. My tongue pain went from being full rage mode yesterday, but it was getting better. But the last day when you're getting a canker sore, the last day that it's bad is always the worst for some reason. It's like absolutely the fucking worst. There's a lot of stuff I'm going to address in this podcast. I'm going to address some of the psycho people out there that, most of you guys, hate these people and, are sick of them and all that type of stuff. I am too, but it's just very confusing to funnel yourself through everything. So we're going to dive into a little bit of that drama stuff. We're going to get into it a little bit as I stretch out. Ow! Come on! I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you enjoy this podcast. Hope you leave a like, a heart on Patreon, and a comment. I've also pinned all my drop boxes to the top of Patreon. So content in the last 3 months you will still have to search for on Patreon, but that's not that hard to do, to search the last 3 months for stuff, especially if you're on the desktop. But anything that's 3 months ago and beyond, that's really hard to find. That's going to be unlocked and available for all patrons. So patrons at the $10 mark will only be able to see $10 stuff for the last 3 months, but after that they'll be able to access a Dropbox full of everything. So that is a interesting perk that's coming to you, but still leaves the value of being a higher tiered patron available for you as well. And it certainly is appreciated when you are a $10 and above patron. That definitely helps out for many of the people that can't become patrons, or many of the people that won't even do $1 or $2 a month to support, or that just can't do that. And because of that, you guys are fucking lifesavers! Star Wars is coming up. I'm not going to talk about it here because I'm sure everybody's sick to death of it. But it is coming, and we can only talk the facts real quick. And the facts are, when The Last Jedi came out, all the Hollywood critics praised it, and half of the fans wanted to kill themselves. Half of the fans wanted to die. I'd say a little bit more than half wanted to die and hated The Last Jedi. But all the critics loved it. Right now, Rise of Skywalker's coming out, and 80% of the critics are liking it, which is very interesting. So the critics aren't 100% giving it a we love this thing, but there are still 80% of them giving a we love this thing. So whatever that means, I don't know. We're going to find out. I'm going to basically say that it seems like despite Last Jedi being an SJW movie with a lot of stuff happening that was ridiculously stupid, that it's still going to end up being a better overall movie that tries to tell some kind of story. And this movie is going to be sort of like a highlight reel of just, nostalgia puke while trying to erase the previous movie. That's my guess. I'm going in with that expectation that this is going to be a little bit of a sideshow. So that's okay. I'm prepared for it. Bring on the sideshow. We'll find out if I like it. Probably not going to like it that much, but whatever. And that's going off of I have 5 reviewers that I always watch, and all 5 of them said the same thing. And all 5 of them were more disappointed with this than with Last Jedi, which is crazy because they didn't really, love Last Jedi. So that's concerning. But anyway, we have a lot of questions to get to. I'm going to address the hypocritical nature of some people who, make Twitter videos, Twitter live streams, and other live streams about me and about JB and about everybody. I'm going to sort of respond to some of that and correct a few things on this podcast that I think are necessary to correct. I get talked about every week. I get talked about every other day by all kinds of people. I don't really respond to it, but at some point you got to line up some of the stuff and sort of correct it in case anybody might be like deciding that that's true. You know what I mean? Some stuff is true. You know, some stuff isn't, whatever the case may be. But we'll get to that. There's a lot of things to talk about. Chili peppers apparently stop you from having heart attacks and strokes, or can potentially decrease those things. Chili peppers. Big study just came out. It's all over the place. I mean, that's pretty cool because I like hot shit. I like chili peppers. I feel like hot food has murdered my insides, though. So that's probably not good. So I'll take... then somebody commented on my Facebook page. I was like, oh, yeah, but good luck to the stomach ulcers with chili peppers. And he said, well, I think you're confusing chili peppers. They don't give you stomach ulcers, but they irritate stomach ulcers really badly, so there's a misconception. And I said, oh, wow, okay, well, I mean, basically, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, either way, when I eat them, it fucks me up. But, yeah, I'd still like to get those chili pepper ulcers taken care of. And, you know, we have no health insurance, so that's another reason why, you know, some people say, oh, you're doing pretty good. Why are you always worried and pushing more shows and doing more things? But it's like, dude, I mean, I got no health insurance. What if something happens? I have to save up money. You know, what if something happens? Right now, if something happened, I mean, I have about $1,000 that I could cover something. That's about it. You know, so I'd really like to get to the point where I had 5 or 6 or 7,000 in case something happened. Because I have 3 kids that have doctor's appointments throughout the year that are probably going to get sick. I'm probably going to get sick. So anyway, your Patreon means a lot more than you think it does, maybe, or than you know that it means to me. It's highly personal to me that you become patrons and that you're at the $5 or above tier. So that is very much appreciated, guys. Morning Madness is normally available for only $5 patrons and up, and today is the same case as always. So I hope you leave some likes and comments down below. Let everybody know how these episodes are fun for you. And they'll see all the activity potentially on the post. I don't remember if you can see that. They should allow that, though. You know what I mean? Like, they should allow comments, maybe, and even hearts on locked posts, right? Because what if you're a $2 patron, and you're like, oh, look at this post. Joe Cronin talks about what happened last night. And there's a whole bunch of comments and, like, hearts and everything, and somebody's like, damn it, I really want to hear that. You know what? I'm going to be a $5 patron. I feel like that could help sell the $5 or above mark. I don't know. That's just me thinking. Because if they don't, then it's just a locked post and you can't even tell, you know, about anything that's going on. So that's interesting to me that if they don't do that. But I want to say thank you to all the guys out there who have been constant patrons over the years, who don't re-up and edit and things like that. They're just still at the amount they've always been at. And I just want to say thank you to those people because, you know, you don't get shouted out a lot because you just remain patrons. And I'm so happy that you do. Obviously, this is me sucking ass right now. I've got to suck some ass. And I'm trying to sort through those people right now while looking at my screen. And I want to give a special shout out to these are the people that have supported with some of the most money over the years. But they don't get shouted out all the time because they're at a lower tier than is like the producer level. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to shout out Nikki T. As always, Nikki T. V2 of Doom Vito. He's been a patron since forever, it feels like. He's been a patron since, does it tell me? He's been a patron over a year, but he's been a patron longer than that. Nikki T has been a patron for 46 months. Also want to shout out Null Death. He's been a patron for 41 months. He's in the $20 tier. And Vito, over $700 of support. Big Bad Ads, 7 months. Drunk Stupid, 30 months. Liz McDaniel, thank you so much to Liz. She's still here in 40 months for Liz. Kevin from St. Louis, I think. Kevin with 28 months. Helen Harpin, 35 months. James and Monica, of course, 30 months. James Sinclair Jr., 27 months. Dave, 14 months. Casey Wood, 33 months. Fernando, 32 months. Z-Pain, 23 months. Jazz559, 30 months. And the list goes on. I'm going to try to shout out more people next time. The Goon, Jazz559, Chris C., Jeremy Brooks, Schleppy, Spiderland, 2 years, 30 million. SW3RV, Always Nerdy, Arushan Chu, Rusty Shacklefield, Mellow Yellow, and Victor, Gordon Bombay, and MWM, Gatekeeper Drew, Ron Bowers, Parker, Old Man Davey, 718, Matt S., Smokey McPotts, Stephen Dixon, and so many people. And that's it, man. I know nobody wants to hear me run down a huge list of people, but those people are all have all had a lifetime support of, over 300 on Patreon and have been around for over 20 months. So that is just incredible stuff. And there's so many more people that I'll be shouting out. But, yeah, let's dive into the questions. It's Christmas time. And then we'll get to the drama at the very end. Big Fuego Jacob is here. Rest in peace to Juice, Nip, Triple X, Mac Miller, Lil Peep. Did your generation music experience a time where a bunch of your favorite artists died or kept dying, maybe with rock or even hip-hop back in the 80s and 90s, and who hit the hardest? One thing I'll say about this, and listen, this is terrible. You don't want to put a value on a human life, right? Like, you don't really want to put a value on a human life, but I'm about to do that. When our musicians died back when we were kids or back when we were younger, it felt like way bigger. They were way bigger at the time. Like, I don't even know who most of these people are you just mentioned. You know what I mean? Juice, Lil Nip, Mac Miller, a lot of these guys I don't even know. I would say when I was a kid, the biggest names were obviously Biggie and Tupac. I mean, dude, Biggie and Tupac died. You know what I'm saying? Like around the same time. So we lost Biggie and Tupac. Those were huge. And then I would say from the rock world, for me, it was Kurt Cobain. When Kurt Cobain died, it was like, whoa. So yeah, I would say from my life, and it was to a smaller extent, but when Dimebag Darrell died from Pantera, and I think Dimebag Darrell and Pantera, they had a huge following, but they were a little bit more or less mainstream for some reason. I mean, they were mainstream, but they weren't. Do you know what I'm saying? So I would equate, like, Dimebag Darrell dying to more one of these guys. And not that I'm saying that he's not as good, because I'm more of a Dimebag Darrell fan than any of the people you mentioned here. But, it was sort of like a lot of the rock world were hit, but not the whole world was hit. It was a quick news story on the news, but everybody else moved on. So I would say the biggest people that died were definitely Biggie, Tupac, and Kurt Cobain in the rock world. I don't think I can think of anybody else. And if I'm missing somebody let me know. Tony Diesel, what's your plans for Christmas Day? You staying home or off to see family? I have no idea, because who knows what will change. Leah changes her mind a lot of times. I would rather plan it out beforehand, because I get mad when things change last minute and stuff like that. That just pisses me off. But I assume that we are staying home, I think. I think we're staying home this time because we're in our own house and we're so happy to be here. But, there's a part of me that would miss what we normally do. You know what I mean? But to do what we normally do will be a much more pain in the ass, because we used to live next to kind of where all the people are that we'd go visit. If we went out this time, we'd have to drive 40 minutes just to get there to do the rounds, and then drive back 40 minutes. So it would be a big undertaking, But either way, I always go to these family things and I think about just acting like a complete shithead. Just let the family talk about you. And plus it's Leah's family, because I don't care anyway. Go in there and like stick your head in one of the pies and then be like, ooh, and then they're like, what are you doing? You ruined the pie. And then I just be like, I don't know. You fuck. And then just have everybody talk about me after we leave, and Leah's embarrassed and like We'll never have to go back there again. What the fuck? Holy shit. Parker says, what day... By the way, if you're listening to this sample on YouTube of this, make sure you become a patron so you can hear this whole podcast. You fuckers, come on. Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show, $5 Cronin Club tier. Join the other 300 of people. 400 people. Parker says, what day are you going to see Star Wars? So tempting to look at the leaks, but I don't want to be spoiled. I'm kind of a little bit spoiled from them, but I'm still going Thursday. So I'm going Thursday. That way I don't get spoiled and I know everything and whatever. And then I'm going to give my review on it, which doesn't look like it's going to be fun to do. Probably going to watch it and be like, yeah, I should have just done Out of Nowhere. Because I think Out of Nowhere is going to have to be earlier or later because I have 10:30 p.m. tickets on Thursday. So, or 10 o'clock tickets, I forget. So there will be no Out of Nowhere at night on Thursday. I'll probably be live earlier with it. My guess. Let me see. Zach Connor says, waffles or pancakes? I'm definitely going pancakes. I like waffles, but, you know, pancakes are the best. Damian Hunter said, I've been listening for years, but I don't remember hearing you tell the story of the first time you saw your first child. How did that moment change you? Oh, yeah, I've got a video out there of being there and everything. Yeah, I couldn't stop staring into the, I can't believe it's been 10 years now, or 11 years even, if you think about it. I stared into the little incubator thing they put the kid in, the warming thing after they come out. And I just did not want to, like, stop staring at this kid. I just wanted to hold him. And I put my fingers out because I was like, I can touch him and stuff. And they're like, yeah, of course. You know, like, because I don't know. And I put my fingers out, and Gavin grabbed my fingers, like held them with his hands. And I felt his little tiny hands holding my fingers. And yeah, that was pretty cool. I had always wanted a family, so I talk about that a lot, that I always wanted a family because I felt like my family got destroyed when I was 8 years old, you know? Like, not only did my father die when I was 8, but then my mother met this drunken asshole shithead, and our lives completely changed from living a happy life with a lot of money in a nice house with a father who had an engineering job, who had worked for the government, worked for computers, had been involved in some of the stuff with computers in the 80s and 70s, you know? And then all of a sudden to move to Massachusetts to have more of a rougher life with a guy who's a drunk, and my mother didn't know what she was doing. So I always was an only child too, so I was an only child, so I really wanted a brother and a sister. So the closest thing I could ever get to getting back to the family that I once had and then having brothers and sisters would be to have kids with somebody. So that is all where that sort of started. So it definitely was a pretty crazy thing. I don't know if it changed me a little bit because before my ex-girlfriend, I was my ex-girlfriend left me, and when she left me, remember, I became like a drunken alcoholic idiot. And I never was like that in my real life ever before that. So I sort of changed to becoming a suicidal, drunken, doing every girl everywhere, going out every night, almost dying all the time, just reckless. I kind of gave up on everything. Like, all right, forget this, you know, because I'm so when I go out with somebody, I'm pretty committed to them. Like, I didn't realize that, but that's what I was doing. Every time I met a girl or dated a girl, it was like, oh, I'm going to marry you, like, type of thing. And so I was with that girl for like 3 or 4 years. And when she left, I went, oh my, like, just forget everything, you know? And so, yeah, when I met Leah, I got a little bit better. When I dated her for about a year, I'd gotten a little bit better. And then when I had a kid, then, yeah, that changed me a lot more. And then it even took me a little while after that to change. But the reason why I stopped going out drinking and I stopped having alcohol problems and I stopped being an idiot was definitely the kid. So it did change. It changed me to Leah changed me, but then the kid changed me even more. So that's how it changed me. Because when I got Leah very angry one night when I had been drinking and she dropped me off in South Boston, that was the night I broke the beer bottle in the bar, and the bartender and everybody beat the shit out of me outside and threw me into a car and all that stuff, and I almost died. Okay, I didn't almost die, but I mean, I could have died. You know what I mean? I could have been hurt. I could have died. I could have been arrested. Who knows what could have happened? So when I woke up in the morning and I saw the scar on my back and I'm taking care of my kid, I was like, what am I doing? Am I going to go out one night? Why am I doing the same thing I was doing before I met Leah? Like, I'm not doing it the same amount, and I'm in much better shape than I was, but I'm still bad. What am I doing? Like, I have a kid. This is what I've always wanted. I have a fucking girl and a kid, and what the hell am I doing? Because I've always been the person that's like, dude, you have a kid. You need to take care of your kids and take care of your family. I've always been somebody who says that to people or knows you got to do that. And here I am, like, with my friend having a good time in South Boston one night, almost dying or whatever. And I'm always worried about not being there for my kid because my dad died when I was 8, and I don't want my kids to not have a dad or a parent. I want my kids to live as long as possible with having me, because that terrifies me that anybody else has to not have a parent. And I know that happens all over the place, all over the time. You're probably listening to this. You only had one parent, or no parents, or raised by your grandparents, or your kids only have one parent, or, you know, but it's just my paranoia because that's what happened to me, and I don't want it to happen to anybody else. So that really changed me, man. That really did. That was the moment where I'm glad that happened. I'm really glad that I broke a beer bottle and that I went crazy, because that was the moment that I was like looking at my kid the next day and looking at this scar on my back, and I'm like, I could have been, who knows what could have happened to me. Why am I going out to do anything? I should just be here. So that was a big change there. So that was probably after, you know, he was about 7 months old or less. Rose Montana says, what are your thoughts about NWA in the Fire? What do you think about different NWA Power Season 2? Rose, what up? I got to be honest, I haven't watched NWA since they fired Jim Cornette. Or since he left NWA. And I didn't see Into the Fire. I may watch it at some point, but I just haven't seen him yet. Star Scream is up next. Oh, bone or boneless? Rose also asks. I'd prefer boneless if it's good, but chicken wings are my favorite thing. The chicken wings on the bone, chicken wings, love chicken wings. They're like one of my favorite things. But I don't like getting messy though, like messy hands and ribs and stuff like that. So if I'm eating alone, I like that because if I'm all messy and weird, I can go wash my face and hands. But I don't know, I find it embarrassing to eat fucking stuff on the bone while like getting barbecue sauce all over my face and hands. I don't even like stuff on my hands anyway, so even by myself, it's kind of weird. So yeah, I would have to say boneless, but I do like chicken wings. I like the wingdings, like the greasy, horribly fat, plain wings that, you know, some pizza places have and shit. But I'd have to go boneless if you put a gun to my head. Lewis, Star Scream says, any plans for small streams during the holidays? Yeah, I mean, I think so. I'll do some kind of Christmas thing or update or whatever. I'm sure I'll do something. I definitely will. And I want to give a shout out to the original big three, Schleppy, DMOON, and the Himmel God. If they're out there listening, I know DMOON and Schleppy probably are. But I just want to shout out those three guys because, their bombs back in the, not back in the day really, but, back 3 years ago and 2 years ago, and maybe it's been 4 years, I don't know. But DMOON, Schleppy, and Himmelgod, without them, that and even Shell kind of started it a while back, a long time ago. She was doing it too. Those kind of extra big bombs were a big reason why I was able to get into this place that we were able to get in. So I think about them all the time. You know what I mean? Despite whatever is going on, or if they hate me now, or whoever. Well, I know like Schleppy and DMOON and Shell don't, but but anybody, it just means a lot to me. Still, I think about it every day. I really do. I think about everything I have, and I think about when I lost my job and everybody was helping out, and there was people even. It was just crazy. I don't even want to talk about it, but it was just crazy, man. It was. I can't believe how people help. And recently, like Everyday Jam and Justin McNeil and Sith Negan and a lot of people like that. And there's a lot more of you out there who have been dropping bombs recently, and that is certainly much appreciated on the live shows. It really sparks me up on live shows because, sometimes I don't know if I'm doing the right thing or what I'm doing is working all the time, but then you guys are there for that. So the Bear 1322 and Justin McNeil and Nikki and Sith Negan and Gary Metzler. Just much. It's so crazy. It's appreciated. Every little last and even if you're a $1 patron, I see your names all the time. I recognize everybody, and I'm like, yeah, that guy's been around forever. Anyway, those are the questions. Chili peppers can remove cancer from us all. So let's remember, chili peppers can remove cancer. We got I called JB's show the other day and fucked with him, but I've got some of the drama here we got to talk about. Hey everybody, thanks so much for listening to the sample of Morning Madness episode 197. Listen to the entire episode on my Patreon right now. The entire episode's available right now. Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show, episode 197. It's about 58 minutes long. Enjoy it. Have a good day. And I will be live in about an hour and a half for some afternoon throwdown. And then tonight is, of course, AEW review on the Joe Cronin Show channel. Hit me up down below and check out Patreon.